Bronfman, of the Bronfman family that had Seagrams. And they had a company that had some interest, so we merged our company with that company. It was formerly Great West Saddlery, which is long history. They got control of it, a public company, of making saddles, but it hadn't made a saddle for 30 years. it just had a little real estate business in it, construction business, and the then controlling shareholder took that out, and so it had nothing. And they put all their real estate holdings, and they only got holdings through friends and relatives knew them. They put the money up and got a piece of the action, and the equity. And they put all their holdings in, and Sam put all his stuff in, and we became Great West Saddlery and changed the name to Great West International Equities. And after we ran it from Calgary head office, and what happened next? Oh, Triza came along and took us over, made a deal with the Bronfmans and other controlling interests, and took over Great West, so we became part of the Triza empire.
Was Trizac the Bronfman boys to begin with, or just after they joined Trizac?
What's that?
The Bronfman boys, were they part of Trizac before or just after they joined?
No. Only after Trizac took us over.
Okay.
And they became minority shareholders in Trizac then. Because Trizac was controlled by an English insurance company. And after about, I forget how many years, I have to look it up, but 3 or 4 years, the Bronfmans went and got control of Trizac, bought it back from the English insurance company. And Harold Milosky was appointed president, and I was appointed a vice president, I guess. Just head office moved to Calgary, and the then senior officers eventually all left.
And there was a little scandal on that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a scandal, fraud or something? That...
Not that
Oh,
I
okay.
can remember.
And throughout your whole career, you stayed in Calgary, though?
Yep.
Yeah.
But we grew to have operations all over Canada and the U.S. And I became a senior vice president of the development division responsible for finding and building new developments,
Okay.
office buildings and shopping centers. And I traveled all over. Oh,
Pilsen Center.
And so when you retired, what was your position with Trizac?
senior vice president of development.
They kept an office open for Grandpa for 10 years, hoping he'd come back.
And you retired at how old?
49.
49. Wow.
At 47, I'd had my first medical in about 20-some years, and they found I had a small heart problem. And I said, enough's enough, because it's pretty stressful. So I gave him 2 years' notice and retired at 49.
That's amazing.
2 years notice, wow.
I thought you were 48, so that's good to know.
So how would you describe your retirement?
Carefree.
What have been some of the highlights or...
Well,
Getting in my way.
well, I took on a lot of volunteer jobs, and one of them with the military museums eventually took so much of my time. Oh, unbelievable. And I was there for 8 years. I was a vice president and treasurer and on the board of directors, and I was handling all the bookkeeping and writing out checks, and they had no staff in those days.
When did you start square dancing?
Well, what's this? What year is this?
1985?
This is
This
2017.
is 1917, about 88, 89.
It was
I think our
before the
badges
Olympics.
say 89 was the spring we graduated. I think we started in 88, in the fall of 88.
So almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh, one other question, because you volunteered with the government of Canada to evaluate
Oh,
their...
after I retired, Mulrooney was in the
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, and Nielsen from the Yukon was the deputy Prime Minister, and he set up a task force to examine government spending and ways to cut it. And they looked at every aspect of the government, and one of the aspects was real estate. And this task force was to be set up with teams of which one half would come from the private sector. Companies would loan them executives for nothing, and half would come from the civil service. And having just retired, Harold came to me and said, would I go represent Trizac? So he compensated me for the time I was doing it. And it was supposed to be a 3-month job, and it was for most everybody. But when I arrived, I was the most senior officer from the private sector on this real estate team. So they made me the head of the team.